Hi, thanks for coming to the page. Welcome to the Business Brain. Now, you're obviously here because you want to become happier, healthier, more prosperous, and more successful in your work. We're an organization that helps people like you. Now, our mission is to help 1,000 business people a year to achieve more happiness, be healthier, and live more fulfilling lives through their business. Now, imagine a world where you wake up full of energy, you go to work and you're buzzing with energy to do your job. You get into the office, you deliver effectively, you achieve everything that you wanted to achieve. You come home and you feel like, yes, I've had a great day. I can now switch off and relax. Well, that's actually the world that a lot of business brains experience. And the trouble is, many people in the world, they don't have that level of satisfaction. They don't feel that because whatever's happening in their lives, it's too cluttered. They can't make very clear decisions. So my business partner and I, Ollie, do you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone. Hope you're okay.
All right, so Ollie and I work together on the Business Brain, and Ollie's been doing this for, how long have you been doing this for, Ollie? 20 years now?
Don't ask, Honor. Nearly 30.
30 years of helping
Yeah.
people become happy. You should have an MBE, or at the very least, a sainthood.
I agree. I'm not going to argue.
So, I mean, Ollie, in your view, right, in 30 years of helping people to achieve happiness and be more productive at work, what are the three main things that you've seen? What are the three biggest things that you've seen people need?
Yeah. I would say in modern life now, it's changed from 30 years ago. But today, as it stands, there are three core areas that I think most people need some sort of help, support, or advice on. And I think the first thing is time. It's interesting technology because technology is supposed to be a leverage for productivity. But I'm sure a lot of people out there will find that now technology has advanced so much to the point where you can actually be online 24 hours a day and be accessible 24 hours a day and access information 24 hours a day. But with that comes the challenge of switching off. And if you own a business or if you want to be successful within a business, an organization, you feel a duty to be connected and to be responsible for the outcomes that you're trying to create. And that can cause a little bit of an illusion that you have to be present constantly. And actually, that's unproductive. So people try and be effective and try and be successful, but they don't know how to manage time and they don't know how to pick and choose the moments when they need to be able to be engaged on productivity and be engaged with their clients and their colleagues and their customers. And also from a well-being perspective, it has a really adverse effect to happiness because, you know, if you're constantly working and if you're constantly online, then you don't have any downtime and your brain is constantly functioning and your brain and your body are working synergistically. So actually when you're focused for long periods of time on work, your body actually becomes exhausted as well. So there's no differential between that. So actually, cognitive work is just as exhausting as physical work. And so it's fascinating where the second issue is people are so engaged and online so often that actually their happiness is suffering because when they stop work after a 12, 14, sometimes 18-hour day, they want to be fit and healthy and they want to go and see their family, but they're too tired. So actually the mental well-being side of things is suffering now because they can't actually do the engaging parts of their lives that they really want to, like spending time with their kids or go for that run, right? Because what they're finding is they're too tired. They have to switch off and have downtime. And obviously with that becomes irritable sort of behaviors and agitation, sometimes anxiety, and in worst cases, depression and suicidal thoughts, because there's a lot of pressure.
Sorry to cut you off, mate, but didn't you have, you told me about a sales team that you helped that were feeling that way.
Mm-hmm.
There was a sales team, I forget the name of the company, but there was like 20 people that we delivered the Business Brain to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember this story?
I do. Well, there's a number of sales teams that work with in terms of helping them rationalize where their time goes and how it affects them. Because when you talk about sales programs and when you talk about leadership programs, they are very boxed in, aren't they? And actually, they're not. You know, if you're a salesperson, you're a leader in sales, aren't you? If you're a leader, you have to sell your ideas and concepts to people, right? And you're at service and everything. So when we talk about separating sales, leadership, and service and project management, they're all the same, really.
Yeah.
They're all intertwined. And so when we train sales teams, there was a particular team, and one of the guys there, he suffered from a lack of confidence. It was a low self-esteem. And actually he was on a lot of medication, and you could see him sometimes panicking when, not put on the spot, but when we had to do some interactions where you had to recall information and you had to practice some of the tools and techniques. He was obviously struggling with that, not because he was incompetent or incapable, because he didn't believe in himself. Now, if you think about this, if you don't believe in yourself, how is anyone else supposed to believe in you? So if you're selling, you can't project confidence onto somebody else if you can't project it inwardly either. And so you can give people all the sales tools in the world and how to talk to people. But if what's going on in your head, your own internal dialogue, is not helping or supporting that message, then you've got to work internally. And what's great about the business brain is we work on the internal stuff that helps the external stuff. So things like self-assurance, confidence, positive psychology, resilience, they're all internal factors that when you get those right, then you can translate those and transfer them externally into impactful communication, creating outcomes, fascinating conversations, powerful pitches. Because if you can't do those things unless you have the internal software right, you know what I mean? And we always upgrade our internal software.
That's it. A lot of we all think that achievement is based on like a KPI measure, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Like I've got to eat 12 hamburgers. I mean, I know this is probably horrible to you. You don't eat hamburgers, but I've got to eat 12 hamburgers. Oh, I've only eaten 11. Yeah. I didn't succeed. Well, I feel terrible whether I eat 5 or 12, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That's right.
One is enough. And I think in a work context, we're constantly under pressure to hit those targets and achieve those goals. Mm-hmm. But I think people are setting the wrong goals. You know, the goals should be more around the outcome they want to achieve. Like what is the outcome? You know, we want to grow our business by 30% this year. Mm-hmm. How do we do that? We get X amount of new customers, or we sell more stuff to our existing customers, or we reduce our costs and invest into R&D or some other interesting things.
Yeah.
And what was very interesting to me with the business brain idea is that, and this is actually the reason that got us together in the early days was, mm-hmm. You got the same problem, but you can see it from a number of different angles.
Yeah.
And understanding the problem differently actually opens up new outcomes that perhaps you weren't thinking. Mm-hmm. So if you're struggling to hit KPIs, a lot of the time people are struggling internally, they're suffering and they're dying inside because they feel like this is, whatever the goal that they're trying to hit, it's not making them happy.
Yeah.
And they feel like they can't change the goals.
That's right.
Changing the goal is just as easy.
Yeah.
As it's easier than achieving the goal.
Yeah.
Making an outcome that you believe in.
Yeah. Correct.
And push forwards with that.
Well, actually, that honors a brilliant point, because it links me to the third element that I find people struggle with is a sense of purpose. Right. So actually the business brain is a smart thinking course. And what it does is specifically it elevates your levels of awareness to a greater sort of acceptance of what's out there. And therefore, when you're more aware, you have greater flexibility. But in order to be aware, you've got to be open-minded, right? So to be open-minded, you've got to then accept that your way of thinking is not the only way. And so what we provide are, there's always going to be problems, but we provide different angles to look at the problem. So you can elevate your performance to higher levels, because what you're doing is you're creating a toolkit that allows you to be more flexible and agile. What happens with most people is that they have a set of behaviors that are quite fixed and rigid. And what they do is they perform with that sense of programming that they have in every situation in the same way, in all aspects. So you'll have someone who might get really angry and frustrated when people aren't listening to them. Or you might get someone who always talks in detail when they're stressed. You know, they go into the minutiae all the time. And what we're saying is that's not bad, but it's not good either. It's just what it is. It's just a program. But also paradoxically, if you thought about doing the opposite, what might happen, right? And it's not saying, oh, I couldn't do that because that would break every sort of rule in my head. It's saying, well, no, just what if? What's the possibility that things might change? Would it be better or worse? And then what we do is we have these two paradoxical behaviors. But actually, what we're not saying is you've got to do that or that, because most people think in black and white because they don't have a sense of purpose. They're trying to control what's going on in their lives. So they think they should either start that or they should stop doing this, or they should be detailed, or they should be very, very global in how they think. But actually, the beauty is finding out that actually there's different scales, isn't there? I mean, you're a very detailed person and I'm a very global person, but we found a way of communicating because I have to move more towards the detail when I need to. And you probably have to elevate your communication to be a bit less detailed. And we meet in the middle somewhere. And what that means is that we have an understanding and it works. And sometimes I might have to be more detailed because some of the work that we do needs that. And sometimes you might have to be more global because some of the work needs that. But what we're doing is we're putting this recipe for how we communicate into the mix in the relationship. And most people don't understand how to feed the relationship because they haven't got a purpose in the relationship. Whereas ours, to have these 1,000 people go to the business brain, that's our purpose, right?
Yeah.
And we want to make people happy, healthy, and successful. So we've got an aligned purpose. Once you have that, you can then adjust your behavior and communication to get the results that you want. And a lot of it is trial and error. But people who lack purpose feel that failure quite often is a problem. But failure is all about the science of success. Success and failure paradoxically have to work together because you can't succeed unless you fall over a few times, like riding a bike, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few really good, every failure is one step closer to success.
Yeah, that's right.
Every no is closer to the yes.
Yeah, that's right.
We've all had sales jobs. I remember when I was selling, and my boss said to me, "Look, get as many no's as you can.
Yeah.
Stack up the no's because your yes will come.
That's it.
Get the no's out quickly." And the other one that I love is, further together, faster alone. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, you probably could get there quicker on your own. And yes, we can all just do it on our own and you don't need support. But actually, in my experience personally, whenever I've reached out and brought people in, it hasn't been that much slower and we've actually achieved a lot more.
No, that's right.
A lot further.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah. Well, a great example of what you just said there is working with a very raw team leader. She was only 21 and she'd been really good at her job. She was a telesales executive and they needed a team manager. So they promoted her, as most companies do. You're really good at your job, so let's turn you into a manager. Gave her no support, no training, no coaching. Just expected her to understand what leadership is. And of course, 3 months down the line, I get the phone call and she comes on the business brain. And we soon find out that actually she was underperforming because they were hemorrhaging staff because she had this bullying mentality. Now, on the business brain, we explored her map of leadership. When I say map, if you have a map on the wall, that's how you get to somewhere, right? But there might be a different map on a different wall, and that's a different way of going around the same thing. And they might be subtly different or dramatically different. Spain versus France, they might be similar, but they're not the same, right? So she had this map on her wall of her identity of being a leader, and we had to break this map down and explore it. And that was part of the Business Brain program. It quickly became clear that her map was born of her previous manager in a different organization. And her boss had given her really poor feedback, as lots of people do. They just be judgmental and quite negative. And they said, you need to be more assertive like me if you want to be successful. And of course, I said, well, when you say more assertive, what sort of manager was she? And she said she was horrible. She was a bully. And I went, right, okay. So do you see anything similar to what you're doing to what she was doing? She went, well, yeah, because that's what leadership is, right? And it was literally as black and white as that. And I said, well, no, it's not actually. So on the Business Brain, what we do is we explore leaders and we explore leadership and the communication of leadership and coaching. And we tie those sort of those elements together. And we gave her a new map and she was painting her own version of leadership built on good examples of what leadership should be, but her own personal adaptation of that. So then she left with a new map. And of course, things improved. And it's like magic. How did you do that? Well, we did it because we broke down what she perceived to be leadership and rebuilt it to be her version of leadership with the other magic bits that are, taken from great leaders from the past, present, and maybe potentially the future, which could be her. And we add those ingredients in, and then you get this new version of her, and we reconstruct it. And it worked brilliantly. So people were happier and people were more productive. So it was a thumbs up. And so obviously she's moved on since then because she's so good that she thought, you know what, I've outgrown this business now. And, you know, that's the danger of the business brain sometimes for some people who want to go on it.
It was actually my greatest joy when I had corporate jobs was seeing my team move on to better things.
Yeah,
that's
right.
the thing. I love that. Whenever I hear that someone got a job as a head of or a director of or something, you know, I felt like, yeah, I did a good job there, you know, because we have to do the output. But
well,
no
actually,
no one remembers the output.
No, the most important thing is how we feel.
Yeah.
If you were to, you know, Stephen Covey talks about, you know, always the end in mind. Right?
Yes.
If you could go to the end in mind and say, did I enjoy every day of my life? Yeah, and you said yes, that would be a great life, wouldn't it? But if you looked at your life and went, did you tick all the boxes, right? But didn't enjoy it, you go, well, not really. No, I ticked the boxes, but it wasn't fun. Well, if it's not fun or enjoyable, then why are you ticking the boxes? What's the point?
Yeah. What's the book, The Poor Millionaire?
Say again?
Isn't there a book about that, The Poor Millionaire?
Oh, is there? I don't know.
I thought it was something like that.
Yeah.
It's a story of this guy who achieved everything he wanted to in his life materially.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He was completely grumpy.
Yeah. Happens. Yeah, yeah. The fast car, the kids in private school, the nice house, miserable.
Miserable, absolutely miserable. Absolutely miserable. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because look, we're all leaders in some way, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Leadership is not, you're a leader. You know, I think people misconstrue leadership and management. And I think that's another thing that I like to play with or push home in the business brain is that, look, managers are not leaders. Managers' job is to look at the numbers and make sure things get done. A leader's job is to inspire.
That's right.
And, you know, some of the greatest football teams, some of the greatest sports teams, the leaders weren't on the pitch at the front, they were at the back. You know, the leaders were the guys in the dressing room, the coaches, the physios, the people that were inspiring the team to actually play better and do better and achieve more.
Yeah.
And leadership is within everyone. We've all got to help lead each other.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I like about the Business Brain program is that it helps us understand how we can be leaders in different opportunities, in different situations that we wouldn't have thought of.
Correct.
And that's what enables this innovation in thinking, makes organizations more entrepreneurial. I mean, let's talk on that a little bit. You know, the idea of having an entrepreneurial organization, a team that thinks for themselves. It seems like a fantasy to some people, but actually it's just changing the way your people think.
It is, yeah. Absolutely right. Well, there's two types of people that go on the business brain. There's the entrepreneur who have got a business or are starting a business and want to grow and develop it. And the business brain's perfect because it gives you that toolkit I mentioned earlier for helping you achieve success in a way that is aligned with who you want to be. And it's not just that tick box exercise, right? And then there's the intrapreneur, the person who's working in an organization, big or small, who wants to make an impact, who wants to be, you know, wants to be something or someone. And lots of millennials now, and I think next year there'll be 50% of the workforce will be millennials, right? And they are, and they are different, you know, because they want a sense of purpose and they want to work for an organization that connects with their values and their beliefs. And they want to do something rather than just have a job, right? And so people who own businesses have to understand this, and they're not a problem. If you make them a problem, they will be, because it's just different to what we're traditionally used to. But the world's changed, so we've got to get away from traditional mindsets, and we've got to embrace all the different generations. And what's great about the business brain is whether you're an entrepreneur, an intrapreneur, or someone who's 70 years old or 17, you can attend the business brain because it's just about innovative thinking in a modern world. And if you want to be happy, healthy, and successful, like we all should be, then we give you the strategies for doing that. And it doesn't matter what age, gender, whatever you are, wherever you are, it doesn't matter. You can learn these skills, right?
Yeah, and I mean, the program itself, we spend 6 months with people. We're giving them online learning. We're giving them one-to-one coaching, group accountability. You know, what else? Well, I've missed a few, haven't I? I mean, come on, there's got to be loads in here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we got the group training sessions,
Yeah.
okay, where you can collaborate with other like-minded people and talk about the key topics. When we educate you on those core topics, and the topics are mindset. So we develop how you think. So growth mindset's a critical element there. And then we look at relationships, which is all about emotional intelligence and bonding with other people and other groups, and the strategies for connecting, when you're networking, etc., or selling. And then we look at perception, how we view the world, and how that can be quite flawed at times and unhelpful, and how we can fix that, and also how other people perceive reality and how we can shape that ourselves through language, which is the next session. So number 4 is language. It's about how we communicate to ourselves and other people, and how we can coach and develop ourselves and other people. Then you have influence, which is fantastic. Hypnotic language patterns of influence, how you can change people's maps and change people's worlds and create win-wins. And then the last session is thinking. So strategies for problem solving, creative thinking, and just overcoming some sort of barriers and limitations. And you put all those together, and then the sort of toolkit we have are alongside those group sessions, we have one-to-one coaching. So it's tailored to you, specifically designed with your goals in mind. So everything we teach you has to have that action plan and that outcome relating to where you want to take it, because it'll be unique for you, right? So we have a suite of dedicated coaches who are brilliant minds, and you can pick one of those coaches and we'll give you their time, and they will shape that action plan in line with all the learning that you're going through. And then to support the workshops, and then to support the coaching, we have the online learning portal, where you have a plethora of videos, downloadable PDFs, and some really neat stuff in that toolkit that can really help you learn 24 hours a day, whenever you want, wherever you are, and just up your game. But the most important thing is that you've got to be the sort of person that attends this business brain because you want to, not because you need to. Because there's only a certain sort of sector of people that succeed in the business brain. And we want those people, which they're the people that know that where they are now is not where they want to be. And they've got a concept of where they want to be. And they've decided that a change needs to happen.
Exactly.
You can't do it for them. They need to do it.
Yeah, exactly right. The business brain is not for everyone.
No.
It's for the doers. It's for people that actually want to make change. They want to see an influence. They want to see something different.
Yeah.
6 months is a commitment, and we hold people to account. Everyone gets a coach. 6 months worth of executive coaching. Just think about what that will do for your business, or what it will do for you within your business. If you've got 6 months of the level of coaching that your boss has got, or that your CEO or your investors had, one-to-one, and then our group sessions going through each of the brain boosters. The tools they're going to get is it's an NLP course as well as a mindfulness course.
That's correct.
As well as a communications course.
Yeah, and emotional intelligence.
Yeah. We're dealing with how many? 3 local authorities we're speaking to at the moment about this.
We are, yeah, absolutely.
Training them up on emotional intelligence, how to help their constituents and things. So it's a course that's for leaders and for people that want to make a difference.
Yes.
And what it does for people, it changes the way they think. What's the value of that? If you could turn up for work and think differently about the same problems and have better outcomes, what would that do for your personal well-being and for your productivity and for your outputs?
Yeah, right? Listen, you know as well as I do, we meet a lot of people who get up in the morning, they go on the commute, they go to work in a job that is unfulfilling. They get through their task list. They come back through the commute. So they probably miss 2 or 3 hours, maybe even 4 hours of connection with their family. They come home, they're absolutely exhausted. They're too tired to do anything. They eat, they watch, mundane kit on TV, and then they fall asleep and it starts all over again. And, this is a smart thinking course and a smart working course. And this is about the world is changing. Even with the coronavirus now, we know that actually we can work in different ways and we don't have to be set in a traditional mindset. We can actually evolve, and businesses can evolve, and so can people evolve, because you're a brand in your own right. And if that's you, this course will help you change your perspective on what's important to you, not just in your working life, but in every facet of your life, whether it's health or relationships, because all the tools that we give you will make an impact in how you think, communicate, and behave in every situation. And that's the beauty of this course, is the amount of people that come to me and say, do you know what? I applied that in my relationship with my children and it was amazing. And then suddenly they realize they can do it and they go to work and they try it and they go, and the same thing happened there and it worked. I can't believe it. And I go, well, that's the whole point.
It's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the brain doesn't change, does it?
No.
The brain doesn't care if you're playing sports or if you're at work or if you're at home with your family.
No, the context is irrelevant.
The
application of the learning.
It's the tools, right?
Yeah.
So for people that want to learn more, that want to get involved, there should be a link somewhere around on this page.
Yeah.
Usually it's at the bottom. Sometimes it could be on somewhere else, but find that link. The course is not for everyone. So what we do before accepting people onto the program, we do a 30-minute discovery consultation with you. In that 30-minute session, we go through where you are now, where you want to be. This could be your career goals. It could be your business goals. It could be your personal goals. And then we try to understand what are the things that are blocking you and help you discover the elements of the business brain that can help you overcome those blockers. And then you make a decision. If the course is right for you, we'd love to have you on board. Everyone that signs up for the course gets our money back guarantee. If in the first month you feel like it's not right for you, we'll just call it quits. We'll give you money back and part friends. You're welcome back anytime when you feel it's right for you. But as a bonus, anyone that signs up is going to get a copy of our book that Ollie's written, which is a 6-part workbook that covers the program. You're going to get all the workbooks for each of the 6 modules. You're going to get access to the group learning, access to peer learning. You're going to get access to our online learning portal, which at the moment has got over 50 videos and we're adding to that weekly. You're going to get access to the private mobile group.
Yeah, we've got the community, don't forget. We've got a community of business brains.
And the community of business brains, exactly, yeah. I mean, that's a massive benefit.
It is.
If you've got a business problem, we've got someone in the business brain community that has had that problem.
Been there and done it.
Been there and done it. And you can just ask these people in confidence because they become your peers.
And we have a selection of events as well that we run, don't we?
So the events, free tickets to the events. That's the one I was missing. So you get all of these as bonuses when you sign up for the program. 4997, I think, at the moment.
It. Yeah.
4997, one-off payment. It's not for everyone. We give you a free 30-minute session, which is basically a coaching session to understand your problems. And there's literally no risks for people. I mean, 6 months worth of coaching is what, $6,000 at the moment?
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
At least.
At least.
Right? 4997 for 6 months of a program. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So if you feel like it's right for you and you want to be on board, you want to be part of the business brain, you want to be one of our 1,000 business brains this year, please fill out the form. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll hopefully see you there.